The theme of today's readings is about the journey from captivity to liberation, from darkness to light, from blindness to sight. We see in the first reading how the Israelites were liberated from captivity in Babylon to come home. That's symbolic for us, to be liberated from different things to come home. For some, it's the liberation from addictions to freedom. We see there in responsorial psalm, the Lord has done great things for us. Repeated over and again, the Lord has done great things for us. Do we really believe that? And then in the gospel we have another journey of Bartimaeus, from blindness to sight. That is also symbolic. It's more than just the journey or the transition from physical blindness to physical sight. It is also the journey from spiritual blindness to spiritual sight. There are too many people in the world that look at themselves and they dislike too many things in themselves. They wish that they were different, that they had different talents and gifts, and they're unhappy about it. They really do not grasp that the Lord has done wonderful things for me. And then there are even people that go farther than disliking themselves. They can even reject or hate themselves because they see in themselves all kinds of things that are wrong, whether it be greed, egoism, whatever the vice may be. And they don't not only not like themselves, they hate themselves. Somehow they see in themselves more sin than grace. But Paul tells us, where sin abounds, grace abounds more. But they don't see that side. They are spiritually blind to the goodness within themselves, and they're too concerned about their faults. Yes, we all have faults, we all have sins, but we must remember that we are basically good. Oh, we are flawed. We are not basically evil. We want good in our lives. We search for it. We make mistakes. We think some things are going to be good, and they may not be so good. But still, we are basically inclined to goodness. Sometimes we know what is good, but we're too weak to pursue it and achieve it. But still, basically, we are good. Some people, because they dislike and hate themselves and reject themselves so much, will say, I need to indulge myself. I need to indulge myself in selfish things to make up for what I'm suffering. So we have the two extremes that people in their blindness experience. One of not liking themselves, the other of looking for some consolation, some compensation in things that aren't so good, in treating some creatures as if they're God, even becoming addicted in a way to the creature who was made to help us out and not to possess us. So how do we solve this problem between the two extremes that spiritual blindness people experience? That of not liking themselves and that of pursuing self-indulgence. What stands between the two is meditation. The very word or the root meaning of meditation is to stand between. Stand between disliking yourself and stand between the other extreme of taking too much self-indulgence for yourself. And meditation can do that for us. It's a wonderful way in which we come to true knowledge of ourselves, to realize that God loves us the way we are, even though that we're flawed, even though that we sin, even though that we get caught in addictions and self-indulge ourselves. God still loves us because we're made in the image and likeness of God. And where sin abounds, grace abounds more. How important it is for us to make that transition in life from spiritual blindness in which we cannot see how great we are, how great thou art. We cannot really see all the good things that God has done for us. Somehow we are preoccupied with the negative. Yes, we are called to have a positive spirituality, that we are made in the image and likeness of God, and it abounds. Yes, there are times when we lose hope. Despair seems to be right there, that things are not going to get better. But we know that good will prevail over evil. Not only in the world, but in our own lives, that good will prevail. We have to turn ourselves over to meditating upon how much God loves us. Yes, we have to first of all accept ourselves the way we are. Then we have to have self-knowledge that tells us that we're much better than we think we are. And then we're called to self-transcendence, to go beyond where we are to the goodness out there in other people. Too many people who dislike themselves or just who have a hatred for themselves also have a dislike for God. They think that institutional religion is going to rob them of their liberty. But we know if you really look at history, it's institutional religion that really has come up with all the freedoms that we have today. They are there in religion. Oh, there are other things in religion too. But the good things outweigh the bad things. So let us realize that we should accept ourselves the way we are. We should have true knowledge of how good we are. And we should have self-transcendence of going beyond our good to the good of the people that we love.